protein powder or vitamins. This is a nutraceutical with clinical studies that prove, it's not a matter of whether or not it works. The case has been closed on that with these clinical studies that have been done. And now we need the world to know about it. The problem is, since a pharmaceutical company doesn't own the patents on it, nobody knows about it. So this is a great man and doctor named Dr. Eric Akin, who is a neurosurgeon and one of the smartest people I've ever met. I think that might just be something that happens when you want to study the brain. You got to have quite a brain yourself. But Eric, somebody who I've gotten to know as he has helped many people with this protocol and their health problems. And Eric, somebody who I admire and respect. So Dr. Akin, maybe tell us a little bit about you and why you're excited about this option.
Yeah, so I'm come from a medical family, and my father was a general surgeon. My uncle's an ophthalmologist. We have a number of nurses in the family. And so I've grown up sort of with my eye on the trends in healthcare for a long time. And I think that I and probably every one of the physicians that are going to present to you something tonight have noticed that we're not doing well in one particular area of medicine, which is chronic disease. You know, the overweight, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, and all of the related diseases around that, like dementia and fatty liver disease and sexual dysfunction that's caused by insulin resistance and all of those things. And so I'm going to tell you a quick story to explain to you where we are with this product. And exactly, it's a similar situation, but it's exactly what's going on with this product, the Feel Great system. So the story starts in 1971. A man named Frederick Smith was attending, he was in an economics class at Yale University, one of our finest universities in the United States. And for the final assignment in that class, the professor asked them to make a proposal for a business that would be revolutionary, that would change an entire industry. Well, Frederick Smith had a really good idea. He was very excited about this, and he put a lot of time in researching this and very carefully and methodically wrote this final term paper. Well, when he turned in the term paper a few days later, the grade came back. It was a C minus, much to his dismay. Well, he approached the professor about it because he wanted to know, what was wrong with this. And the professor was essentially almost laughing at him. But he went on to explain why he gave the grade. And he said, this grade was a gift. Honestly, you should have had an F, but I kind of liked you. But as he's listening to this professor, he'd done a lot of research, and he's realizing this professor has some gaps in his knowledge about the industry he was writing about. Not only that, but he was basing a lot of his decisions on old ways of thinking. And so because of this, he still had faith in the idea. And 2 years later, he launches a business based on the paper that he wrote in that economics class, for which he would have received an F. You know this business today as Federal Express, FedEx. That was one of the greatest and most revolutionary businesses that came about. That is exactly where we are with the Feel Great system right now. This is a company that's come up with something that is revolutionary, and we are the early adopters. And yes, we do face some skepticism. We face some people who, from time to time, will even laugh at the circumstance until we can persuade them just enough to try this product for a few months. And then it's undeniable what happens. They uniformly have this same response metabolically. And the key word that Trent mentioned earlier is that it's measurable. We can prove it. And that's very important because people want proof these days. And so you can measure these things. You can measure an hemoglobin A1C and a blood pressure, and you can measure their serum glucose and a fasting insulin and their lipid levels. And you can see what happens on the scale for many people. And so the reason that I'm involved with this is I personally had a very strong response to this. I reversed my insulin resistance. My blood pressure came down. I'm 54 years old, and I'm a normal body weight with, my father died, by the way, from metabolic syndrome. So the same thing that most everyone else has died from. And I fit the bill for about only less than 5% of American males right now, being of normal body weight, normal blood pressure, on no medications, and a normal cholesterol profile. So if we can just convince you just enough to try this for 3 months, I'm certain that you're going to have the same response. We all recognize that this is the future of metabolic wellness and health in the world. And we're just standing strong, just like Frederick Smith did with his great idea before for Federal Express, and hoping that we can reap the whole world and bring them to the knowledge of this product. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Akin. And thank you, to your credit, unlike the ignorant Yale professor in the story, you are an open-minded guy who could have laughed this off and said, uh, I know what I'm doing. And instead, you, with an open mind, have looked at it and have been a real, just support to this whole thing. And we're grateful for you. Thank you, Dr. Akin.
You bet.
I'm grateful for you and want to express my appreciation. Again, when I asked Dr. Akin, would he be willing to come on and share, I don't know what a neurosurgeon charges per hour, but it's a ridiculous amount of money. And he could be here and do this for free. So thank you, doctor.
You bet.